Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn, and I get many comments on my YouTube videos from people wondering what my character wears and uses, the gear that my character uses in my particular playthrough of Fallout 4. So I'm going to take some time really quickly to show you my entire setup in terms of gear. I'm not really going to go through perks, but I will show you the gear that I use. And let me tell you a brief principle on how I decided to play my character. I wanted to get as close to a vanilla Fallout gaming experience as possible, while still having complete customizable control over my character. So when it comes to mods and gear, I only use mods that alter the cosmetic appearance of gear. So if I have Under Armor, that Under Armor is going to have the exact same stats as armor found in the game. Now before I get into all of my gear, I want to make clear that Power Armor is still going to be the most powerful kind of armor that you can get in the game. A fully upgraded suit of Power Armor, at least for my character, has 1,880 damage resistance and 1,470 energy resistance, not to mention the rad resistance that comes with it. I'll show you all of the different pieces and upgrades that this particular suit has very briefly. As you can see, it's all the way up to Mark 6. No legendary abilities. You know, it's not using anything that comes with a mod. It's all very basic. And some of these I haven't even put any miscellaneous mods on yet. Anyway, so as you can see, the Power Armor is obviously going to be much better in terms of defense. But I have 4 different game playthroughs, and in 2 of those, I actually don't use Power Armor. And my main is one of those. So I did a Brotherhood of Steel playthrough, and in that playthrough, obviously, I spec'd out the guy to use Power Armor. Outside of Power Armor, he's completely crippled. He's not worth anything at all. But inside Power Armor, when he's got the right weapons, he's a pretty powerful character. And it's the same with my Institute playthrough. That particular character was also spec'd in terms of perks to favor Power Armor. But my other 2 playthroughs, my Minuteman and Railroad playthrough, were not. And so let me show you what I did to still make my character a viable character, even though she does not use Power Armor. Now, a non-Power Armor playthrough is only viable in the game when you use Ballistic Weave that you can get from the Railroad. Now, to maximize your benefit from Ballistic Weave, you need to apply Ballistic Weave to clothing that can be worn with every piece of regular armor that you can equip in the game. All the slots, both arms, both legs, and the helmet slot. Now, there are only a few pieces of clothing in the game that allow you to place Ballistic Weave on them that also free up all armor slots. Those include the Army Fatigues, the baseball uniform, dirty Army Fatigues, the green shirt and combat boots, military fatigues, Minuteman outfit, and the tattered rags. That's it. Those are the only pieces of clothing in the game that allow you to apply Ballistic Weave to them, that also allow you to wear every single armor piece on top of it. And I found that limitation to be unnecessarily restrictive. So in my gameplay, I allowed myself the freedom to download other clothing mods that allow Ballistic Weave, but also allow you to wear other pieces of armor on top of them. Now, as unbelievable as it may seem, there are some hats in the game that accept Ballistic Weave. Combining an outfit that accepts Ballistic Weave with a hat that accepts Ballistic Weave, you can get your armor factor way, way, way up there. The only hats that accept Ballistic Weave are the Trilby, the Newsboy Cap, the Battered Fedora, and the Green Rag Hat. It's an interesting selection. None of them really go well with my character. The one that comes closest is the Trilby hat, so I've got an armored Trilby hat with this character. Many people in the past have commented that my character looks really ugly. Look, I had never claimed to be really good at modeling these characters. I threw this character together really quickly when I first started the game, and I haven't touched her since. And yeah, I suppose, I don't know. My wife says she looks like a soccer mom, and she thinks that I made her look like a soccer mom because, as she says, my taste in women is maturing. But I I think that's probably reading a little too much into it. If any of you think that you can make a better one, who knows? Maybe you can make one for me and I'll use Face Ripper to change the face. But at any rate, this is the creature that I have managed to throw together, and she wears a trilby in my playthrough. So we've got our Ballistic Weave hat and outfit. Now we need to get the armor, and I've found, after doing a lot of testing, that the best armor for me is a combination between heavy synth and heavy robot armor, and yet I still use the freefall legs because I really want that legendary effect. The freefall armor that I described in another video completely negates falling damage, which is extremely important for a character like mine who uses a jetpack outside of power armor. So for the legs, I used the freefall power armor, which is basically just a piece of combat armor. And for the mods, I just tried to upgrade them as best as I could. It's completely random whether or not you get heavy or light or whatever. So I just use the freefall armor for the legs, but for the rest of it, I use heavy synth. And that's because heavy synth does a great job balancing ballistic and energy damage. You can see on the left there that it's got some pretty significant energy resistance. If falling damage were not a concern for me, I would probably use robot legs in place of the freefall armor, just because they have a really high ballistic damage resistance, which I think is the best of any other armor piece in the game. So I would combine robot legs with synth everything else. And a helmet you don't need, right? Because with Ballistic Weave on a trilby hat, or a newsboy cap, here, let me find my trilby hat. There it is. You can see that I've got the Ballistic Weave on the armored trilby hat. You're going to have higher ballistic and energy resistance than any other helmet in the game. And then I just put the ultra light build mod on there to increase my action points, since this particular character is a sniper. Now it's going to take you a long time to find legendary pieces that you want. Now, as I've shown you in other videos, as I've been playing this game for a very long time, I've collected every single piece of legendary armor that's ever dropped in my game, so you can see that I have quite a collection of every single piece with almost every single legendary effect on them, and I was really thrilled when the final piece of V.A.T.S enhanced armor dropped for me so that I could complete my full set of V.A.T.S enhanced heavy synth armor. It took a while, but I was able to do it with base vanilla endgame mechanics. And the V.A.T.S enhanced legendary effect is going to greatly increase or decrease the action points that I use in V.A.T.S. But of course, based upon the perks that you choose, you're going to need any other number of legendary effects. So it's just going to be a patience game, or you could use mods to wait until the appropriate piece of armor drops. Now you can use a mod, and I have the mod installed because I've been experimenting with it for some of the videos that I've produced. It's called Legendary Modification, and it actually allows you to find a piece of armor and choose what legendary modification you want it to have. If you're not really worried about the purity of your gameplay, then that's a great mod for you to kind of amp up your armor and to kind of choose which legendaries you want. If you are concerned about the purity of your gameplay, you may not want to use this mod, or you could try and rationalize it for yourself by saying, well, I've been collecting all of these pieces for many, many weeks or months of in-game play, and I've got plenty of legendary gear. I'm just going to mix and match the pieces on there. And there is an option with the Legendary Modification mod where it treats these legendary effects like mods, and it will only allow you to add a legendary effect to a piece of armor or a weapon if you take one from a previous piece. And that can kind of make things a little bit better for you if you're worried about the purity of your game, because it makes sure that the item has actually dropped with that modification before you apply it to your armor. A companion mod for that is called Legendary Modification DLC Far Harbor Additional Fixes, and that allows you to apply the Far Harbor legendary modifications, the new legendary modifications like Auto Stem, for example, that came with Far Harbor. Now you'll notice that my character has all of this armor equipped, but you don't see any of that armor on her. And the reason for that is because I'm using another mod called Concealed Armor. And here's how it works. You can go into the modification list for your armor, and you can go to Concealed Armor, and you can either turn it off so that the armor looks invisible, or you can choose the visual style. For example, you could have a heavy piece of armor like I have, but you want it to look like a light piece of armor. You could choose light, and now the chest piece looks like the light version of the armor. Choose medium, and now the armor looks like the medium version of the armor. Or you could choose heavy, which in this case is going to be standard because this piece dropped in standard as a heavy piece of armor. And the piece of armor looks like the heavy piece of armor. But as you can see, I mean, am I the only one here that thinks that this armor looks really silly? I mean, maybe it would look good on a few characters, but on this character, like, I put synth armor on some of my settlers who are synths, just so that it makes them look more like synths. But aside from that, this just looks ridiculous. And so what I choose to do is I use the mod just to conceal it, to make it invisible. Doesn't change any of the stats, doesn't change any of the bonuses, just changes the aesthetic appearance of it. It looks invisible. This allows me to get better use out of any sort of downloadable costume that I choose to use with this character. As you can see, I've got the legs set to visible, but it does work with the free fall legs. You can just go on over to the free fall legs, even though they are a scripted legendary piece of armor, and you can turn them off. See? With this setup, I get 409 ballistic, 30 poison, 385 energy, and 10 rad resist. Not nearly as much as you get in power armor, but it is certainly fairly significant, and it's to the point now where I never get in my power armor because I never really run the risk of dying. I'm afraid my choice of weapon is actually rather boring. I just have a V.A.T.S enhanced shielded Gauss rifle. I just found a V.A.T.S enhanced Gauss rifle and used the weapon shop to upgrade it as far as I possibly could. I do have a 2-shot Gauss rifle, but, you know, I never use it because I tend to kill enemies in one hit anyway. And at this level, I'm more concerned with killing as many enemies with my AP as possible, rather than hitting as hard as possible with each shot. So I've got V.A.T.S enhanced on this gun. I've got AP improving and V.A.T.S improving, lining mods on all of my armor, and I've got every single perk that has to do with critical hit AP refill or improving V.A.T hit chance, just so that if I ever get plopped down in the middle of a swarm of enemies, I can go into V.A.T and knock out 5 to 6 of them in one round before they even know what hit them. So that's why I use my V.A.T enhanced Gauss rifle. Now, some may think that playing with V.A.T is boring. I don't. I actually still really enjoy it, even this late into the game. But I do like a bit of diversity, so for my other characters, they're all spec'd completely differently. This is my sniper, but my Brotherhood of Steel guy is spec'd into unarmed and large weaponry. My Minuteman playthrough is spec'd into commando, so she wields the spray and pray. And my Institute playthrough is spec'd into automatic, my automatic Tesla rifle that came with the Automatron workshop. So I've got a bit of diversity. This is really the only character I have that uses V.A.T.S. All of the other ones don't. Now for the jetpack, I'm using a mod called Cross Jetpack. Really simple. And there is a glitch. As you can see, there's no fire coming out of my jetpack. And I'm not sure why. I've taken a look at the mod forums, and nobody seems to really have a solution for it. At least not that has worked for me. But it's functional and it looks great. There are a couple of other jetpacks that you can find. One is called Jetpack Combat Armor, which is a great solution if you want your jetpack to feel like it's part of an armor set. For me, I want this to feel like it's a backpack because I want my armor to be invisible. And it works just like the jetpack that comes on power armor, with one notable exception. If you sprint and you do one tap, you actually jump far higher than if you were to not have a jetpack installed. I'll show you. Alright, we took it off. Sprint. My jumping is much less high. Put it back on. Oh, there we go. Oh, I just had to turn it off and on. Let's try that again. Sprinting. So the way the mod goes is it's like a powered assist, which I think is actually really cool. But in terms of airtime, the airtime is exactly the same. It still consumes AP. You're still going to kind of throttle it, and then when you're out, and you gotta wait for your AP to come back. So I don't consider it a cheat, since it's basically using in-game vanilla mechanics. It's just taking it off of the back of the power armor and putting it on your back. And in combination with the free fall legs, which again is not a mod, it's just basic vanilla in-game mechanics, you negate falling damage, and it makes a personal jetpack that much more viable. Using this on a sniper build like I have with my character, I can run around downtown Boston, leaping from skyscraper to skyscraper, just tearing up raiders. I mean, heck, with a jetpack like this, you could really make the Silver Shroud a reality, right? Anyway, I realize that some are going to think of this as cheating, especially with the assisted jump boost, but in my game, I've rationalized it. And for those of you who really don't care about cheating, that's fine. Also, notice that sprinting is consuming AP. I think the way it goes, anytime AP is consumed with the jetpack, the flames turn on. But I really love this assisted jump that it comes with. Also, if you install the entire Cross Cybernetics framework, you can use the workbench that comes with that mod to change the color of your jetpack and even the color of the flames that come out. I wanted mine to have sort of an industrial feel, so I kind of went with this brushed silver with yellow and red accents and then traditional red flames that come out. That's just what I chose to do with my jetpack. After that, it's just putting on accessories that alter the appearance of your character that really don't alter stats all that much. I like to mix and match different kinds of backpacks, and for that there are a number of great mods you can use. One is called Wearable Postman's Shoulder Bag or Backpack. It's got a couple of really neat options. Another, one of my favorites, is called Provisioner Backpack. This is a backpack that I put on all of my different provisioners, my human provisioners that wander the wasteland. And in fact, one of the only reasons I still have human provisioners is because I like seeing this backpack so well that I just keep them around so that I can encounter them in the Commonwealth. And then another great one is called Wearable Backpacks and Pouches. This mod has quite a few different backpacks you can get, including belts and bandoliers. And then a fourth one is called the Field Scribe Backpack, which allows you to just equip the backpack that comes with Field Scribes. There are some great eyewear mods out there. One is called Rad Band Eyewear, which gives you just some different sunglass options. And then another is called Glasses Galore, but I prefer to just use the regular glasses that come with the game. Note that many of these mods come with options that include cheats. For example, some of the backpack mods will actually improve your carrying capacity. But they also come with options that allow you to not have those side effects. And I always choose to install the versions that don't alter my carrying capacity or give me insane bonuses or give me another slot that it allows me to equip Ballistic Weave or something like that. Just because I prefer to play as close to the in-game mechanics as possible while just changing my character's appearance. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, a short, sweet video showing you the way that I customize my character, simply because many of you have asked. I don't really see the point of going through my perks list because I didn't really follow a formula creating my perks. This was my first character, and I sort of just picked perks as I leveled, and now that this character is like a level 140, perks really don't matter at this point. I'm starting to collect them all, as the kids say these days with the Pokemons and the Digimons and whatever. Anyway, so there are the mods that I use to customize my character and give my character additional gameplay that complements the gameplay that comes with vanilla Fallout 4. I hope this video was useful. All of the mods that I mentioned in this video are linked below in the description, so I hope that comes in handy. And stay tuned for more content like this. Be sure to subscribe because your subscriptions keep this channel alive. And thank you all so much for watching.